Hi guys, today I want to show you how I make this kind of almost watercolour looking Makume Gane. So the colours I'm using are all Premo, and I've got some white, some bright pearl green, more white, peacock blue and the pearl purple, and I'm going to make a skinner blend out of those. So I've rolled them all into little teardrop shapes and I'm sandwiching the white in between each colour. I've used approximately one section of a 2-ounce block for each, except these two little white bits here are slightly less, but the rest are about one section. So that's those. I've also got some white clay rolled out onto a number 3, and that's for when we make the slab. And I want to show you a really easy way of doing a bangle as well. So I've got these wooden bangles that you can get from Amazon listed in my Amazon storefront, and we're going to make a bangle using this. So I've also rolled out some more white clay, a strip long enough, wide enough to fit this bangle, and this is rolled onto a number 4. And I don't know whether I said that's rolled onto a number 3, but that's rolled onto a number 3. And then I've rolled out another piece of white clay, and this is also rolled onto a 3. And then there's another piece of white clay rolled onto a number 7. And then a black piece of clay also rolled onto a 7. So you've got some white for the bangle itself, some white for the slab, some white to actually make your pendants, and then some white rolled thin and black rolled thin. But going back to the bangle, before you use this, you must put it in the oven to draw out any moisture that might still be in the wood, because if you don't do that and there's moisture, if you put your clay on there and then bake it, the moisture is going to cause the clay to kind of break away from the bangle. So I always put these in the oven on 250 for an hour or so, an hour and a half maybe, just to dry it out. So that's that. Because it's Makume, I'm going to be using Ojoy Creations Makume Gane imprints, including this gorgeous seashell, and I've got some flower ones here as well, and then obviously some cutters of your choice. I'm just probably going to go with these two, again from Ojoy Creations. You can also get all of these, if not all of them, most of those cutters and MG imprints from Debbie, who's in Australia. I will also leave a link in the description for her shop. Alright, so first thing first then, let's start with this skinner blend. So I've taken all the colours, including the white, rolled them into little teardrop shapes, and I'm just going to turn these into a blend, and I always do it this way. There's other ways to do skinner blends, but I just like the quickness and easiness of this, so that's how I do it. I'm just going to give it a quick roll first. Make sure all those pieces are stuck together. And then obviously thin enough to pass through your pasta machine. So once it's thin enough, what you need to do is pass it through your machine. Or you can do it by hand, but it just takes a lot longer. Pass it through the machine down like this, then fold over colour to colour, pass down again, fold colour to colour, pass again, and so on until you're happy with your blend. Okay, alright, I've got my blend and I've not over blended it. I wanted more striation, so I've not completely blended it, just that the colours are nicely going into each other like this. But I want to... I'm trying to think. Yeah, okay. I'm just thinking out loud, guys. Just fold it over because we want to make it a thinner blend. So colour to colour. And just mush it together, squish it, make sure it's all nicely stuck together, and obviously thin enough to go back through the pasta machine. I'm just going to give that a quick roll. And I'm going to pass this through on a number 4. So I'm just passing it through on a 2 to start with, just to make sure I can fit it in there, and I'm taking it down to a 4. So it's going to be quite a long strip. You could take it down longer if you wanted to, but 4's fine. And here it comes. So now we've got this pretty long strip going from one colour to the next. And I'm just going to flip it the other way because I want to roll it into a bullseye cane, which is quite simply just taking one end and rolling. I'm just trying to get in a good position so I don't go out of shot. And I'm just starting with the white in the middle. You can do it the other way if you want to, but I'm going with the lighter colour in the middle. And just start to roll. I always like to give it a little squeeze every now and then on the ends, just so it doesn't bulge out too much. So you just roll down the whole length of the strip of clay until you come to the end, and that's it. Pull out any tipsy hairs or cat hairs that you might have in there, which I do as usual. Okay, so you've got a nice colourful plug here now, and I'm not going to reduce it too much. It doesn't need to be reduced that much, but I just want to make sure it's all nicely compacted. Make sure there's no air bubbles left in there. Oh, I just had a horrible thought then. I looked up at my camera and thought, oh no, I'm not recording, but I am. Phew. Okay, there's a few little bubbles in this, so I'm just going to put my blade through those and pop them. And then I'm just going to do this for a little bit longer until I'm happy. And I think that's good. Okay, so that's the little plug ready to go. Now I'm just going to grab my piece of white clay that I rolled onto a number, I think I rolled it onto a number 3. Let me just double check. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it was on a number 3. Alright, so I've just got this small piece of white clay because I'm not going to make a ton of this for the pendants anyway. Alright, and then what you're going to do is get your plug and start slicing down the side of it, and that way you're going to get a series of colours running through, and also some pretty little patterns. So do nice thin slices, and each slice you're going to get, you know, a different layer of colour, like so. Oops. So try and go as thin as you can. Just keep slicing through. And now we're getting more into that centre now, so you're going to get some of the white coming through as well. So when you've got enough pieces, quite simply, and I just need to make some room, guys, I'm getting a bit squashed here. It's quite difficult working in a space this big, because that's literally all the space there is once you've got the camera sort of hanging in front of you. But the way I've got my setup, I mean, I suppose I could get a more expensive setup, but I'm not going to because this works just fine. Alright, so when you've got your pieces sliced, you can just randomly stack them onto your, well, not stack them, place them onto your white backing sheet. So pretty random, mix and match. You can even overlap them a little bit flip them to see which side you like the best. And I think we'll just need a couple more little slices for this. Oops. Just going to pop that one on there. And I think that's good, and I've still got quite a nice chunk left for something else. Okay, so once you've done that, then you've got your little pieces on there. You're just going to give it a roll, just to smooth it all together a little bit. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just going to lift this up. Okay, so that's that, and you can just see that blend of colours. Okay, and then what you need to do is grab a wet wipe. You might need to grab a wet wipe, I know I do, just because I want to clean my blade off a little bit. And then you need to get your thin sheet of white, which was rolled onto a 7, and just pop that over there. And I didn't quite make it big enough, so what I'm going to do is just stretch it out a little bit if I can. And there's a little bit poking through. Oh well, it's fine. Let me just get rid of that. Just level it off a little bit so we can see what we're doing. And that will do. And then on top of that, you're going to take your black sheet, which was also rolled onto a 7, and put that on the top of that. Like so. And that's it. That's your little slab. Just tidying it up a little bit, not that it really matters, but okay, right, so you got your little veneer, or your little slab to make veneers. I'm just gonna make sure I've got all those air bubbles pushed out. And then you just need to get your Makume Gane imprints, or whatever it is you're using to make your patterns. And I always like to give these a quick wipe so they don't stick. And I'm just checking the thickness of this slab, because you don't want it to be much thicker than the depth of the imprint part itself. And mine's good, so I'm just going to go ahead and push in. And hope it doesn't pull the clay out, because sometimes it does. I'm just going to get this flower one now. Another little wipe with the wet wipe. Could even, you know, go over the clay as well. And again, same thing, just push it in. I always like to give mine a little rock as well, just to make sure it's going in on all points of the imprint. Give it a wiggle, kind of wiggle it back out. That's a nice clean one as well. Give this a quick wipe. So you can do whatever pattern you want on here. But I guess with this, what I want to call painterly look, it's kind of like a bit of a boho, I don't know, flower power kind of look, I think anyway. Just making sure that's gone in. So, and this lovely shell, I love this. It's so pretty. And let's just go there with that one. like so, and we've still got a little bit of space down here, so I'm going to go and pop in this flower again. And then I might as well go with this other one as well, because I want more flowers than I do anything else. Okay, just make sure it's not overlapping on that other one. Give it a push. I'm always scared they're not going to go through deep enough. Alright, so that's that. Let's bring over this sheet of white and we can start slicing little pieces off. Alright, so you've got your imprints all in there. I'm just going to give it a little roll just to close it back up a little bit. It doesn't have to be 100% closed, but you know, just a little roll. Like so. And then you need a sharp, flexible blade like this. And I want to take as thin as I can, but as whole as I can. Try and get that pretty much that whole pattern in, and just kind of shimmy your blade underneath like so. And there's that. Oh my gosh, there's that first piece. How gorgeous is that? But I'm not going to put them on my white clay just yet. I'm going to make all my slices and then decide where I want them to go, because obviously I've got this strip that needs to be filled for the bangle. So same thing, I'm just going to keep taking slices, and because you've done the bullseye, Skinny Blend bullseye, you're going to get like a more sort of watercolory look. In my opinion, that's what it looks like anyway. And I'm just going to take another slice from this. So pretty. And I'm trying to get this shell, try and get my blade oh yeah. I'm just going to level this off a little bit. Okay, right, next flower then. Pretty. I think this is my favourite one, my favourite flower. I love that one. And then let's see what this rose is going to look like. Don't be nervous about not so keen on that one. It might look better once I cut down and get more colour. Don't be nervous about shaving. It does take practice, but just see, like even there I screwed that up. It does take practice. And I'm thinking my blade has gone a little bit blunt. So, oops on that one, but I'm still going to use that because it's kind of fragmented. It still looks pretty nice. I'm thinking my blade needs sharpening. Let's try this one again. Okay, that's better. Now I've dampened it a little bit. There's another one. So I'm just going to keep doing that. I'm not going to bore you by shaving every single piece off. So I'm going to go off camera and do the rest. And I'll be back. So I've shaved all my pieces, and I did shave right down to the bottom of the stack. You don't have to do that. You can just take a few pieces like this, and then what's left you can just roll out smooth, and that can just be a veneer, and you can just cut your pieces out. But I wanted to get these lovely slices. So it's just a question now of deciding where you want it to go. And I like it when it breaks like that and you just got a little fragment there. That was accidental, but still. And I have got a few little fragments that I can just add. Like so. I just want to see what my cutter's going to look like on this one before I go any further. Thinking that'll be good for the heart, so I don't want to fill the whole. I like to do it, you know, separately, guys. I like to do each pendant one at a time to try and minimize any waste, because obviously that's not going to use up the whole pattern, so I don't want to add any more for the heart. So just give that a little roll, get some paper, give it a little burnish just to make sure it's flush on the clay. Just to smooth it out, any bumps. That should be good. And then just cut your piece out, and that's that. That's one pendant. Give it a little wiggle. And let's see about this one. I'm just going to gently make an impression with this, just so I can see where to put my pieces. Do you know what? I think I'm going to use that one that kind of fragmented, just because it's long and thinnish. And I'm just going to separate the pieces a little bit where they broke. I think that looks kind of cool like that. So that's that one. Give it another burnish. And that's that one. And that looks jolly nice. So I'm just going to do two pendants. Obviously I've got a load of pieces left. I'll do the bangle, and I've still got a lot left, and I've still got half of the bullseye cane left as well. So if you didn't want to make quite as much, you could just halve the amount of clay that I used, obviously. Just make less. Okay, so they're the pendants. I've got an itch. So I'm just going to gently lift these. I'm going to put them on some paper. Like so. And I'm not worried about some of the back being shaved off, because they're going to get resined. So don't panic if that happens. Alright, so there's the two pendants. Do you see what I mean? How they look kind of almost watercolour-ish. And I'm just going to get some rubbing alcohol, which I'm running low on, and a wipe. And I'm just going to give them a little bit of a clean. And just smooth around the edges a little bit. Okay, so they're the pendants. Oh, yeah, I was thinking about actually adding some kind of cord rather than a chain on these. I'm just going to move this out of the way. Yes, I've got this little round cutter, and there's a whole set of them, and again they're listed on my Amazon storefront, and I'm just going to punch a hole out instead of using my drill, so I can fit a cord through. Same on this one, make sure it's centered. Okay, so that's that. So they're the pendants. Right, onto the bangle then. Now I've done a few bangle tutorials. Like I've done some full bangles, and I've also done some cuff bangles, but they've all been made out of clay. I thought I'd try this wooden one, and like I say, you really do need to put these in the oven to dry them out a little bit. So I've rolled some white clay out, just a strip, that knows big enough to go around the bangle. And same thing, I'm just going to take these pretty pieces, and I'm going to do all flowers, I think, on this one. There's that, I love this piece, it's gorgeous. And I'm going to put them on the strip. I'm not putting them right up to each other, I'm leaving a little bit of a gap. I don't like that bit of black on there, I'll try and get rid of that. And I like that, I've split it open a little bit. And let me see, what do I want? Maybe this one. I'm just going to break some of that off. Some of these pieces are quite fragile because I did slice them real thin, but that's good. I'm just going to pop that there like that. And I think that's all. And as you can see, I've got a ton of pieces left, which I'm very happy about because I absolutely love this technique. So I'm just going to move some of these out of the way, guys. And I've got a lot of pieces left to play around with. Tidy up a little bit. Now the only thing I didn't like about that one was the roses. It didn't capture all of the colours, but I guess I could still incorporate them into something. I mean, they're not awful, they're just not my favourite. Oops. Ooh. I might as well use that, seeing as it broke off. Let's just pop that here. Okay. Right, so now I've got myself enough room, hopefully. Just going to do the same thing with this as I did for the pendants, and just give it a nice burnish. Make sure it's all on there good. And just a reminder, I rolled this white clay onto number 4 because I don't want a thick layer on the bangle. So it is going to be quite thin by the time you've burnished it. So if you're not happy with that, you can roll it out thicker if you so wish to. I just prefer a thinner veneer on my bangle. And I found that this is like the easiest, pretty much the easiest way to do a bangle, because all you're doing is adding a veneer. I'm not even going to put any clay on the inside, but you'll see what I do. So I'm just making sure this is nice and flush on there. And I'm going to need some liquid clay, which I forgot to tell you about. But you're going to need some liquid clay. I'm just going to make sure that's on there smooth. Maybe just a little roll. Some of them feel a little bumpy in areas, just to smooth it out, and I think that's good. So I just need to grab some liquid clay. Just give me 1 second. And I'm just going to use translucent, guys. Alright, so I've got my little strip ready to go. I'm just going to lift it. I've probably got way too much of a strip here, but oh well. And then I'm going to get my bangle, I'm going to get my liquid clay, give it a shake because I forgot to store it upside down. Yeah, if you store your liquid clay upside down, it's going to be easier to pour out, but I forget to do it most of the time. And I'm just going to trickle. I want a fairly decent layer of this. So just trickle some of that on there. and just smear it over, and you need to go over onto the edges as well. Make sure it's completely covered. Like so. I might need a little bit more. Let's see how far I can get around the edges with it. It's a bit messy, guys. Well, it is for me because I'm a messy worker, but I'm just going to get a little bit more. I'm just going to squirt it onto the desk, onto my tile. That should be enough, because I just really want to get those edges. And it's very sticky. So just keep going around until you've got it all covered. Like so. Give it a bit of a smooth. Make sure I've got everything. Okay. Right. Give my hands a wipe so they're not all sticky. Okay, so that's that. So I'm just going to get my strip now, and I'm just going to place it, whoops, right on top of there, like so. Make sure you've cut it wide enough so there's some clay hanging over the edges, and just gently press it on there like so. And ooh, okay, I've got too much of a white gap there, so this is going to be a bit of a sticky mess now, guys, but I need to put something else there. So I'm just going to grab this and put that there like so. Give it a burnish. It's probably going to be real sticky now, but I probably should have checked before I did that. Okay, I can always burnish it a bit better once it's actually on the bangle. So I'll try again. Okay, so let's put it back on there. And the good thing about the liquid clay underneath as well, you can kind of move the clay around because it's kind of slippery. I'm just going to straighten this off. And try and join it up the best I can. And I'm just going to cut right through. I don't know if you can see, it's overlapped like that, okay? I'm just going to cut here. Remove this top bit, and then there's going to be another bit underneath that you need to remove as well. And then that way you get a pretty good join. And what I'm going to do is push those seams together. And I'm just going to go round, make sure it's on there good. And I'm just going to give my hands another quick wipe because they're real sticky. Right, so let's just join this seam up, and I'm just gently rubbing my finger over like so. You can even get your roller and just give it a roll like this just to join it up. And any bits that look a bit bumpy, you can do the same thing. Okay, and then I'm just going to take this and just gently push it over the sides. that. We'll come back to this. That looks a bit messy there, but we'll come back to that. Alright, so you folded it over like this, so there's quite a bit of an overlap, but that's what you need. And then just give these edges a little... I've got to deal with that, guys, it's bugging me. There we go. Same on this side. I haven't got quite as much clay on this side, but that's okay, as long as it covers the edges. And of course, if you don't want to do it on white, you can do it on black, and I did do some black ones. I'll show you those at the end. Okay, so there's that. I'm just going to take my blade now and just cut away, but I'm cutting from the inside, not on the top. So cut from the inside at a slight angle, so you're left with a nice edge like this. Okay, that's that. Give it a smooth. Turn it over to the other side, same thing. Just get your blade in there and trim it away. And that's it. That's as easy as it is for a bangle, in my opinion. Okay, of course you can mess around with it and tidy it up and clean it up and whatnot. So I'm just going to take a look at this. I'm going to get some rubbing alcohol and just give it a quick wipe over, and that will take any dirt off, any fingerprints, any smudges. Till it's nice and smooth. Any lumpy bits you can see, just run your finger over. Okay guys, I'm not going to mess around with that anymore on camera, but you get the idea. Just keep going around until you're happy with it and get it as smooth as you can. Get any dirty bits off it, like there's a little speck of something just there. Alright, so that's the bangle and they're the pendants. I'm going to go and bake these. I'm probably going to bake these for an hour. In fact, I am going to bake them for an hour and then I'll be back. Okay guys, they're finished. Well, almost. I'll just show you what I've done so far. So I've baked them, sanded and buffed the front and sides so it's nice and smooth. Resined and glittered the back. I'll leave a link in the description of how I do that in a separate video. And I just did a simple knot through the hole with some cord. I used this cord, waxed cotton cord in that browny colour. I haven't decided what to do with the ends yet, so I've just done a knot, but I'll figure something out. So there's that one. Same for this one. That's the heart. Nice and shiny. Sanded and buffed, resined on the back, and the cord as well. Alright, so they're the pendants. And here's the bangle. Ta-da! Sanded and buffed. And then all I did on the inside was quickly paint some white acrylic paint in there. Gives it a bit of a rusticy look. If you want to add some matte glaze on there to protect the paint, you can do so. I haven't done that yet, but I probably will. But there's the bangle. So that's that set from the video. I love it. It's so pretty. So there's that. I don't think I can get it to stand up that way, so I'll just put that there. But I just wanted to show you the same exact technique that I did, but I did it on black clay instead of white clay. So there's a black bangle, and then I just painted the inside with black acrylic paint as well. So exactly the same technique, same colours and everything, just on black instead of white. And I'll just quickly show you a pendant that I did on black as well. So you can do whatever colour you want as a background, but there's black and white. Alright guys, that's all for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later. Bye.